of the City of Hudson's Plan Commission to order at 7 o'clock on March 31st, 2016. And we will call it to order and run right into the number 2, discussion, possible action, March 10th, 2016, minute meetings. Wait, meeting minutes.
Move to approve?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion, any corrections or approvals? Or the mention, all right, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, discussion, possible action on a certified survey map, 3 family lots north of Wisconsin Street and west of Knoll Drive, Carson Partners of Hudson.
Again, this location, this proposed certified survey map is at north of Wisconsin Street and west of Knollwood Drive. They're proposing 3 lots, fairly large lots, 23,000 square feet to 30,000 square foot in area. This was part of the former cemetery property. There had been a lot of filling and other things. When the Wisconsin Street project went in, some of the clean borrow from the excavation of Wisconsin Street went in here to raise the lots up. We're still working on utility information. It details utilities. Better than that, recommending approval of the 3-lot certified survey map. Sam Carey and Chris Anderson are here tonight to answer any questions in regards to the proposal.
Any questions from members to
I
council?
just have one in the respect that, to your comment, Danny, if that area was, a lot of fill was put in there, does it have to sit for a period of time before it's stable to build on that, or is there any?
Well,
I'm just curious, so maybe it doesn't matter, but.
One of the requirements was they had to have clean fill, and it was compacted as they went along, so
Okay,
I feel very comfortable. It should be satisfactory.
okay.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries, recommend. Number 4, discussion, possible action on the final master plan and preliminary plat, Carmichael Ridge Planned Residential Development north of Cooley Road and west of Carmichael Road, M&I Homes, or M.I. Homes, John Rass.
The general concept of the master plan has not changed significantly. The issues that we worked on since the preliminary master plan was approved by the Plan Commission and Council was grading and stormwater. We still have details of street, stormwater structures, street utilities to look at the final development plans. There is, and that would include, one issue I'm working on right now is the area between Carmichael Road and the proposed roundabout, because we're going to have a kind of a tentative construction for that roadway section and a final, which will be ultimately when Carmichael Road's improved with the signalized intersection. So we're working on that aspect of it. John Rask is here tonight. I know we've looked at this several times, recommending approval of the final master plan and also a conditional approval of the preliminary plat, the condition being that all the private or all the public utilities, stormwater, streets, sidewalks, pathways, all that's approved by the city staff. But John's here tonight if you want to have any specific questions or of him.
Any questions? How many
145 total single-family residential. There will be some row housing along the south side of the major road going through this, but maybe what's it, 12 or 14? I forget, John. 12, 11 units there.
These,
The red roofs,
Correct.
and the colored map?
what
Correct.
are those?
Well,
Or,
Yeah, they're detached.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. They're detached homes. They have association maintenance, so it's lawn care, snow removal. It's kind of today's version of a townhome.
okay.
Out of this entire development, are those the only association maintained?
No, there will be, there's a fair amount of homes in here targeted toward, that are age targeted, not age restricted. So the homes on the west side would have full association maintenance,
Okay.
lawn care and snow removal. So probably about half of them would have that and really geared toward that empty nester buyer.
Sure, okay.
John, and maybe Denny could answer it, and maybe I missed it somewhere along the line of street lighting.
Streetlight details will be something we'll be looking at, but yeah, I mean, that's typically, you separate the streetlights. They've utilized the custom lighting provided by XL Energy in the past, and I'm assuming it'll be similar to what you've done in
Correct.
Stone Pine and Red Cedar Canyon.
Well, we had issues in the past with the stone pine lights not being in or in the wrong spots, so I just want to avoid that problem.
Well, that'll be part of the plan review.
Yeah.
The landscape plan was provided, the final landscape plan for the western property line adjacent to the single-family homes. That plan is in final form. Something John and I have talked since that plan was submitted. There's a number of very nice trees that could be potentially spaded. Some of them are over by the north side of Culvers. I mean, some of those are 10, 15 feet high. If John's gonna try to save as many as those possibly and possibly relocate those over to this adjacent, the landscaping along the adjacent subdivision where possible. But I think, you'll get a much better impact immediately with those versus bringing in 8-foot trees and planting those. So we're gonna try to best utilize those as we can.
Very nice, Mary Claire.
I apologize if we covered this already. Did we talk about sidewalks?
Well, we talked about sidewalks a couple months ago,
Right.
and at that time, the sidewalks were proposed by MI Homes or Hanshagen Homes at the time, but then the Plan Commission voted to take them out, except for the pathways that go along the major street and come up from that low area on the north side. So there's the pathways, but there's not specific sidewalks along the lots.
Part of that was though deemed that because of cul-de-sacs and stuff, they didn't want them in those, if I recall correctly. I don't know if we talked about the main roads though, and I think
Right.
that's what you're referring to.
That's a great point that you brought up, because it seems like that would be a really nice feature
Well,
on the through street.
yeah, maybe we'll remove that. There is an 8-foot pathway.
This is where you refill your coffee or your tea. We're getting cheap.
Yeah, the proposal for the 8-foot pathway would go all the way from Carmichael Road on the north side of Culvers, south side of the road, all the way down to Cooley Road. Okay? This will be, the orange will be the maintenance, combined maintenance pedestrian pathways. And as we advance the discussion on the commercial property, we would, I would imagine will require some kind of pathway system to be incorporated into that development. So you'll have kind of a loop system here, plus you have combinations of the system going over to Grandview Drive and connecting to Carmichael Road. So that's what's been discussed in the past.
Thank you. It's all part of our Hudson Wellness Program.
Right.
Is there any way to connect the, I'm gonna call it the center cul-de-sac area? You know, the way you have that, the way it's described now is you have to go all the way back out to get to a trail system. Is there any other way to connect it in another spot along there? I'm just asking that as a curiosity question.
Yeah, the reason we have this large open space area in here is because those are those pine trees that you can see from the highway. They're fairly substantial, so we're saving those and not grading that area flat. So the slopes are pretty steep in there. It'd be difficult to get a path in there. So, yeah, these folks would have to come back down.
Okay.
Any further discussion? What's the pleasure of the committee?
Please say to us again, Denny.
Well, there'd be two recommendations, two considerations tonight. One's for the final master plan, which, and that recommendation goes to the common council. The second one is the preliminary plat, which the plan commission has full authority to approve. What I'm recommending is recommending the final master plan approval to the common council, again, with final plan, conditions of final plats, utility plans and so forth being prepared, submitted, similar to what we did with the preliminary plat, or the preliminary master plan previously. Then the second would be the preliminary plat, which would be a conditional approval with the condition that plans and specs for streets, curb gutter, underground utilities, stormwater, water, sanitary sewer, pathways, sidewalks, all that submitted for staff approval. And that go through the city, myself, city engineer, and then our public utility director. And that'd have to be approved by staff.
So if we don't recommend that tonight, none of that will happen, is that correct?
Not tonight. I mean, we can, if you
Right.
feel like you need more time or there's other issues that need to be reviewed, that's fine. But I think we're really down as far as the preliminary plat is just getting those utility details hammered out. Now, they aren't gonna be able to file any, I don't know, John, correct me, but you might be a month or two out before you submit final plats on any of the phasing, correct?
Correct. Probably, yeah, maybe quicker than that, but,
You know,
we still have to prepare the final plan.
Yeah, the big issue is really getting started on grading, because they need to get started on grading as reasonably quick as possible.
So it's just a master plan we're looking at, and then later,
Right.
when they're ready, the plat map will come.
Well, then I'll make a motion to approve the final master plan. I don't know what stipulations I need to include with that, because
Well,
I'm gonna say I don't have total clarity here, but, I do wanna move ahead. So whatever needs to be the proper stipulations, I would ask that be put on that.
Well, the stipulations would be is that includes the final landscape plan,
Yep,
has been submitted, and I've reviewed it for approval, of the area along the west property line between the proposed Carmichael Ridge project and abutting Cuds Golfview Circle. And the condition, or the conditions of the preliminary plat is grading plans, street utility, street lights, pathways, trails, sidewalk construction, will all be approved before final plat presentation. So that'll be approved by the city staff. Then before final plats come in for approval, the city the city attorney and I would be working with MI Homes in regards to any development agreements, private covenants, those types of issues.
so that's all part of what I'm.
Correct.
Well, then I that doesn't change my mind. I make that motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second, with everything else
There.
that Denny added.
Any other discussion on the master plan approval with conditions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, we approve the master plan. Number 5, other business for.
Well, then we've got the
Wait, there's
preliminary
another
plat
part.
as the second portion of the, and again, the preliminary plat's only approved by the plan commission. The preliminary plat doesn't go to the common council. So if you feel comfortable making a recommendation tonight, basically, preliminary plats are kind of the foundation of the approval process. Anything that they do has to be based and consistent. Their final plat submittals to us has to be consistent with the preliminary plat. So if they would make a significant change in any of their platting that would come forward, the preliminary plat would have to be amended. So this really sets the foundation upon which the platting in their phasing and platting in the future.
So what
takes
you're
place.
saying then is what they've showed us tonight via this is the preliminary
Well, the
plan.
preliminary plat is just information you got. It's
So
got the grading, grading lot dimensions and so forth.
So obviously, it's very close to their intention.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I
I
know
mean,
that you said it could be a month, maybe sooner, but I mean, obviously, this is the,
Well, I mean, the big issues they're gonna be working on in the next, well, one is getting the grading started, but finalizing their street utilities plans and specifications, getting that to staff that will be their most significant efforts in the next 30 days or so.
And
so
then
that, this
staff
really covers the layout of the lots and the grading.
Correct.
and staff will bring those prelims back to this committee for approval.
I will make a move to approve that one, too. The preliminary plat.
Any further discussion on that? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? We have the final plat when it comes back to us.
Yeah, they most likely would bring, John, what do you suspect? You might have 3 or 4 final plats?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna be one, because you're gonna phase,
Correct. We have phased it over several years.
yeah.
Okay. Number 5, other business for information purposes only or for upcoming agenda. Thank you, John, Jeff. Nothing?
Adjourn? No. Well, I'm sorry. Due to the elections, our next plan commission meeting will not be until April 21st. So we got, next council meeting's April 10th. And then the organizational meeting, so then the next council meeting wouldn't be till the first Monday in May, so we won't meet till the 21st, and we have 2 weeks, our typical 2 weeks prior to the council meeting to get recommendations, so the next plan commission meeting will be April 21st.
Got it.
Okay.
Motion to approve?
I'll
Approve what?
second to adjourn.
Did you say approve?
Adjourn. Sorry.
What do you want to approve?
No, we're,
Second was
Second,
called, all
Fran.
in favor?
aye.
All opposed, motion passes, we're adjourned. Thank you, folks.